Hello there, children. Barney the bear here. Make yourselves comfortable. It's time for a story. Today's story is Tommy Turtle's Tale of Patience. In a cozy pond nestled among lush greenery lived Tommy Turtle. Tommy was a gentle and patient creature with a shell as hard as a rock and a heart as soft as a marshmallow. He spent his days basking in the warm sun, swimming leisurely through the cool waters, and munching on delicious pond plants. One sunny morning, as Tommy was sunning himself on a mossy rock, he watched as a group of dragonflies darted through the air with lightning speed. They zoomed and zipped around the pond, their colorful wings glistening in the sunlight. Wow, they're so fast! Tommy exclaimed, his eyes wide with wonder. Feeling a twinge of jealousy, Tommy wished he could move as swiftly as the dragonflies. He longed to explore the world beyond the pond and discover new adventures. But try as he might, Tommy's slow and steady pace always seemed to hold him back. As the days passed, Tommy grew more and more frustrated with his sluggish speed. He watched with envy as the other creatures of the pond, frogs, fish, and even the snails, darted and dashed about, their movements quick and agile. Why can't I be faster? Tommy lamented, his heart heavy with disappointment. But no matter how hard he tried, Tommy couldn't seem to shake his slow and steady ways. He plodded along at his own pace, watching wistfully as the world raced by around him. One day, as Tommy was floating lazily in the pond, he spotted a group of tadpoles swimming by. They were tiny and frail, their movements slow and unsteady as they struggled to keep up with the other creatures of the pond. Suddenly, Tommy realized something important. Despite their slow progress, the tadpoles were making steady strides toward their goal. They didn't give up or become discouraged by their limitations. They simply kept moving forward, one tiny step at a time. Inspired by the perseverance of the tadpoles, Tommy felt a newfound sense of hope fill his heart. He realized that patience wasn't about being the fastest or the strongest. It was about embracing his own unique strengths and trusting that good things would come in their own time. With a determined smile, Tommy settled back onto his mossy rock, ready to embrace his slow and steady pace with patience and grace. Little did he know, his journey of self-discovery was just beginning, and the lessons he would learn would change his life forever. As Tommy Turtle continued to ponder the value of patience, he decided to seek guidance from someone wise. He knew that old Oscar Owl, who lived high up in the old oak tree on the edge of the pond, was known for his wisdom and insight. With determination in his heart, Tommy set off towards the towering oak tree where old Oscar Owl made his home. The journey was slow for Tommy, but he didn't mind. He took his time, savoring the sights and sounds of the forest along the way. Finally, after what felt like hours of plodding along, Tommy reached the oak tree. He looked up, his eyes scanning the branches until he spotted old Oscar Owl perched on a sturdy limb, his eyes gleaming with intelligence. "Hello, Tommy," old Oscar hooted softly, his voice as deep and wise as the forest itself. "What brings you to my humble abode?" Tommy climbed up to the branch where old Oscar sat and settled down beside him, feeling a sense of calm wash over him in the presence of the wise old. "I've been thinking a lot about patience lately," Tommy confessed. "I see all the other creatures in the pond moving so quickly, and I can't help but feel left behind. I want to be faster, but no matter how hard I try, I always seem to be so slow." Old Oscar nodded thoughtfully, his keen eyes fixed on Tommy. Patience is a virtue indeed," he said sagely. "But remember, my young friend, patience is not about how fast you move, but about how you handle the journey. Tommy cocked his head, intrigued by old Oscar's words. What do you mean? He asked. Old Oscar smiled, a twinkle of wisdom in his eyes. Patience is about embracing your own pace and trusting that everything will happen in its own time, he explained. Just like the tortoise in the famous tale, slow and steady wins the race. You may not be the fastest, Tommy, but you possess a resilience and perseverance that are far more valuable in the long run. Tommy listened intently to old Oscar's wise words, feeling a sense of clarity wash over him. He realized that he had been so focused on comparing himself to others that he had forgotten to appreciate his own unique strengths and qualities. With a grateful smile, Tommy thanked old Oscar for his guidance and bid him farewell. As he made his way back to the pond, Tommy felt a newfound sense of peace and purpose filling his heart. He knew that his journey to embrace patience was far from over, but with the wisdom of old Oscar Owl to guide him, he felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As Tommy Turtle returned to the pond, his mind filled with the wisdom of old Oscar Owl, he encountered a situation that put his newfound patience to the test. A heavy rainstorm had passed through the area, leaving the pond murky and swollen with water. The once peaceful waters now churned and roiled, making it difficult for the pond's inhabitants to navigate. As Tommy waded into the water, he noticed his friends, the frogs, the fish, and the ducks, all struggling to find their way through the murky depths. Some were becoming frustrated, while others grew impatient, darting this way and that in search of clearer. Tommy felt a pang of anxiety in his chest as he watched his friends grow increasingly agitated. He knew that his slow and steady pace would serve him well in these turbulent waters, but he also felt a sense of urgency to help his friends find their way to safety. Drawing on the lessons of patience he had learned from old Oscar Owl, Tommy took a deep breath and steadied himself. He reminded himself that patience wasn't just about waiting. It was about remaining calm and focused even in the face of adversity. With a determined spirit, Tommy set out to help his friends navigate the murky waters of the pond. He moved slowly and deliberately, using his keen instincts to guide them to safer ground. At first, some of his friends grew frustrated with Tommy's slow pace, urging him to hurry up and move faster. But Tommy remained steadfast, gently reassuring them that patience was the key to finding their way through the storm. As the minutes turned into hours, Tommy's patience and perseverance began to pay off. With his guidance, his friends gradually found their way to calmer waters, their anxieties easing as they followed Tommy's steady lead. By the time the storm had passed and the waters had cleared, Tommy's friends looked to him with gratitude and admiration. They realized that Tommy's patience and resilience had helped them weather the storm and emerge stronger than ever before. As Tommy watched his friends swim and play in the newly cleared waters, he felt a sense of pride swell within him. He knew that his journey to embrace patience had been challenging, but seeing the smiles on his friends' faces made it all worthwhile. With a contented sigh, Tommy settled onto a sun-warmed rock, basking in the glow of his own patience and perseverance. Little did he know, his journey was far from over, and there were still many more lessons to be learned along the way. As Tommy Turtle reflected on his journey of patience, he realized that his newfound virtue had brought him unexpected rewards. One sunny afternoon, as Tommy was basking on his favorite rock by the pond, he noticed a commotion nearby. Curious, he ambled over to investigate and found a group of young ducklings huddled together, chirping anxiously. "What's wrong, little ones?" Tommy asked, his voice gentle and reassuring. The ducklings looked up at Tommy with wide eyes, their feathers ruffled with fear. "We've lost our mother," one of them squeaked. "She was leading us to the pond, but we got separated in the tall grass." Tommy's heart went out to the lost ducklings, and without hesitation, he offered to help them find their mother. Drawing on the patience and perseverance he had cultivated on his journey, Tommy led the ducklings through the dense undergrowth, his sharp eyes scanning the surroundings for any sign of the missing mother duck. Hours passed, and the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over the. Tommy's legs grew tired and his shell felt heavy with exhaustion, but still, he pressed on, determined to reunite the ducklings with their mother. Finally, just as the last rays of sunlight faded from the sky, Tommy spotted a familiar silhouette in the distance, a mother duck quacking anxiously as she searched for her lost brood. With a triumphant cry, Tommy led the ducklings to their mother's side, his heart swelling with joy at the sight of their joyful reunion. The mother duck showered Tommy with grateful quacks and gentle nuzzles, thanking him for his kindness and determination. As Tommy watched the ducklings waddle happily back to their mother's side, he felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He realized that patience wasn't just a virtue, it was a powerful tool that could bring comfort, joy, and unity to those in need. With a contented smile, Tommy returned to his favorite rock by the pond, feeling grateful for the lessons he had learned on his journey of patience. He knew that life would continue to present him with challenges and obstacles, but with patience and perseverance by his side, he felt confident that he could overcome anything that came his way. And as he settled down to rest beneath the starlit sky, Tommy Turtle knew that his tale of patience was just beginning, a tale filled with adventure, friendship, and the timeless wisdom of slow and steady perseverance. The end.